Okay, let's move on. Iowa versus Iowa State. Second game of a doubleheader, whatever the first game is.
The game is at Iowa State. Iowa State was really good last year. I expect Iowa State to be favored. My prediction, Iowa State is favored by 5.5.
Oh, man. And they're rivals in its first game, and they're going to be up.
Second game.
Well, yeah.
It might be first game for both or second game for one or the other. Probably first game.
No, it's the second game for Iowa State. That's 100%.
Okay.
So you think Iowa State's going to be favored, Rob, by 5, you said?
They were number 10 in the country last year. Iowa State was good.
It is week two.
And with the home, because of that home field, I give the edge to Iowa State.
How about me? I'm going to say Iowa by 3. How about that?
Well, how about Rob nailed this one right on the money, 5.5. I took the 5.5.
I'm on the board, Herb. I'm on the board.
You're on the board. You're on the. Okay. Bob had 2. You have 1, and I'm just collecting ideas. How do you like that? I took the 5.5. Now give me an opinion, guys. You think I'll be in this game?
No.
I have Iowa with 5.5.
Iowa State is 5.5 points favorite.
I have Iowa with Rob got it exactly.
Okay.
Iowa was tough. I mean, Iowa was good last year too. They were 15th.
You sure about that?
A couple of those teams really became. By the way, here's a funny thing.
Crushed Wisconsin, crushed Illinois.
I have a real good laugh for you, Rob.
They crushed Penn State.
This is a good laugh for Rob, Bob, and I just heard it the other day. They had Bob Costas interviewing one of my all-time favorites of the modern era, Kevin Costner. The anniversary was the 25th anniversary of Field of Dreams. Oh, by the way, you two guys, they're going to be a game next week, the middle of the week, something like the 16th, whatever day that is. I think it might be Monday. It's going to be the Yankees and the White Sox playing on the Field of Dreams in Iowa.
Yes, I know. I heard about this. Yes.
Isn't that good, Rob? Bob?
Yes,
that's the first time I've heard of it, and I think it's great.
Okay, here we go. Oregon on 9/11, 12 noon. Which means that'll be the first game. Oregon, Ohio State, interconference, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten.
It is at Ohio State at noon.
Yes.
Okay. Give me the odds. Who's going first?
Yeah, I
Rob's
think
on the board.
Ohio State cruises. Oregon doesn't have, his name, Herbert. He's playing for the Chargers.
Yeah.
They got pretty trounced in their bowl game. I think Ohio State will be favored at home by 14.
And now you, Bob.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. There's no doubt about it. They're going to crush them. It's opening day at home, and place is going to be nuts. And
honestly, a noon game against a lower tier team, like a mid P5 team against Ohio State, I think would actually play this closer. But a big name program coming into Columbus, they're going to be up for that game, and they're going to crush them.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, Rob. I agree. The one thing about the Ducks, they have no defense. They never really have in the past. That's why Ohio State crushed them in the I think it was the final game, right? Championship game, the 1 year. I could see them winning like 45-20 or 27, something like that.
This game, you guys feel is similar to Alabama, Miami.
Well,
not the same degree, in my opinion, but still dominant.
Yeah,
well, actually, Alabama, Miami is a neutral site. It has more of a shot than at Ohio, at the Ohio.
Yeah, well,
State.
that's right. See, Herb, this game's in Ohio State. This is not in a neutral site. They're going to roast them. I just think they're going to roast them. Yeah.
Now, here's the next one is a little bit, as I said to everyone, I took to 10. Here's an interesting game. 7:30 at night on 9/11. Boy, they're coming in with a full program of games for the week 2 of the NCAA, Rob, right? And on 9/11.
Syracuse is playing Rutgers, so you have the New York Metro going at it on 9/11.
Who is?
Syracuse is playing Rutgers on 9/11, so you have New York, New Jersey.
I'll have to discuss the odds with that before we get off the air. Washington at the big house in Michigan, and now Washington was a good team last year, very good, and yep. Michigan with Harbaugh disappointed, right? They were talking about exit visa for Harbaugh, right? Washington at Michigan. Here's a tough call. I'm making the odds on this one. Who's going first? Bob, why don't you go first?
All right. Michigan's been a big disappointment. Their coach is on the ropes. They're definitely not. They're getting tired of losing. They don't want to do it. And they're just not as dominant as they used to be. I can see Washington going in there and maybe snipping them by a touchdown, maybe 6 points, 5 points. I can see Washington winning the game. I just can. It's got to be like a pick 'em, because Michigan's not what they used to be, and Washington was good, like you said, maybe 1 or 2 points either way.
Well, you're a pick 'em or 1 or 2 points either way. Rob, You're on the seat.
Let's see.
I think this is going to be a good game. I think you're looking at a pretty evenly matched. I think Peterson is still the Washington coach. He's a great coach. I'm one of the few that actually think Harbaugh is pretty good. I mean, yeah, they can't beat Ohio State. I actually think
he's pretty good too, even though I mentioned.
I mean, it seems like that. I mean,
I think he's a real good. As a quarterback,
they got a couple 10-win seasons under him. I mean,
he's a good. I agree with you on that. Don't let me not.
What's the worst?
I think he's a good coach. I didn't want anyone to think I don't like him. I'm just saying he's been on the hot seat.
Right.
My thing is, what's the worst record in a season Harbaugh's had at Michigan so far? Like 8-4?
Yeah, but if that's bad, well, the only way Michigan. This is Michigan's rules. We have you as coach. Beat Ohio State, make it to a bowl, and keep us in contention for the title.
Well, his demise will be based on not winning the Big Ten and beating Ohio State. But, I mean, I think a lot of teams would take Harbaugh in a heartbeat. I mean, he does win a lot of games.
Do you think that if he doesn't beat Ohio State?
I think Michigan and the big house at home opening Pac-12 rival, I think Michigan wins by.
You know who he might, before you get to Michigan, who he might, if he doesn't beat Ohio State and they have, like you say, an 8-4 real good season and he gets fired, you know where I'd like him to go?
Well, I mean, 8-4 will probably get him fired.
To the Chicago Bears after they fire Nagy, so that he could work with Justin Fields, and the Bears will have a chance to develop a quarterback after 102 years in the league.
Yeah, he was successful in the NFL. I could see him wherever he's going to go. He's going to be successul. Michigan expects a title.
He was the Bears quarterback under Ditka,
Okay, Rob.
Yeah, go ahead,
What's the odds, Rob? You didn't give the odds.
I'll give the odds. Let Bob say what he's going to say.
Yeah, last year Michigan was 2-4 with him in a short season, and you're right. I mean, he was 8-5 one year, which was bad for Michigan, but 10-3 and 9-4s aren't good enough when Ohio State's winning national titles. I mean, he's got a great record, but he hasn't been great there, and they haven't been getting players because most of them are going.
Well, just to clarify all this, what you're saying is completely right, Bob. But I agree with Rob. He's a good coach. We have to separate.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he's not. Just not good enough.
No, he may get fired with a 9-3 and a bowl win.
Right.
But here's my thing too. Who's Michigan going to get to replace him? Because they have to win a title every year now.
Before they fire someone, they better have someone in mind.
All I know is if Michigan wins 9-10 games this year and loses Ohio State and they fire him, who are they going to get? Who's going to go in there?
Everyone will want to sign him. Everyone will want to sign him.
He'll get hired in a heartbeat, and then who's Michigan going to get that's going to take them?
Let's hope that the governors know to have a guy in mind before you fire someone, right?
You'd hope. I don't know. If I look at the landscape, who is going to be that guy, that
ready to go to Michigan
level coach, ready to go to Michigan and get a title with them? I don't see it. So be careful what you wish for, Michigan. The grass isn't always greener.
You may get it. What's the odds in the game, Rob? We already have Bob in at 1 or 2, right? Pick him 1 or 2.
I was going to say 3 points, Michigan.
Well, Bob now has moved up to 3-1 on you and me. Washington and Michigan. I have Washington getting 1.5.
Yeah, like I said, it should be a good game.
I would.
Michigan is 1.5. I have Washington with 1.5.
You know what else too that they don't like at Michigan? He's been in 5 bowls and lost 4 of the 5. That's a problem.
Well, we're already talking about what happens at the end of the year. That point will be well taken. Imagine if he gets to a bowl, maybe a bowl game will save his job this year. How's that?
Well, he's going to have to, because right now, I mean, Michigan big colleges look at stuff like that. This could be a bad opening for him. Give me your opinion, guys. I'm taking Washington
with 1.5.
Is Michigan's got to be the favorite?
You said one. You said one, 2, or pick them 1 or 2. You said, I think.
Right. I would take. Look, I would take Washington in the game, and if Michigan has the 1 point, I'd take the 1 point. That's exactly what I would do.
I think you're basically dealing with a pick 'em, and so he said 1, 2, I said 3. I mean, I could totally see a game. I could see a game-winning field goal in this one.
So you see that 1.5 as a possible good bet.
Good bet, but again, this is a game I don't play. I would stay away from this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's one in both of your wheelhouse. Next one we go with week 3, a team that has disappointed for about 5 or 6 years. Nebraska at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's going to crush them.
Bob?
Yeah, no, Nebraska doesn't have much of any. I mean,
I have 18.5 in the hopes that they're going to say everyone who plays, what is it, Oklahoma and who? Texas? Is it Texas that wants to go?
yeah,
Texas
they want
and
to go.
Oklahoma are going. They're going.
Yeah, they're going.
Texas and Oklahoma are going.
They're going to the SEC.
So I think that everybody for the next till they have to go. I think that I don't think they could get out of it the contract till 25. Is that right? 25.
I believe that's correct, Herb.
Anyway, I took 18.5. How bad has Nebraska been the last few years?
Nebraska made some very. It was a bad move to go to the Big Ten. Yeah, they got more money, but look at their football program. They were a contender pretty much every year. They were people forget how mighty Nebraska was.
I remember. I'm old. Remember? Hi, everybody out there. I'm the old guy.
Not everyone in the audience remembers. Nebraska used to be a superpower, but
they were a superpower.
Superpower, and they have been.
Bob,
Especially since they left the Big Ten. Especially since they went to the Big Ten.
Coach, right?
Who?
Bob Devaney. Wasn't he the coach of Nebraska along with a few others?
Yeah,
Tom
Devaney.
Even Frank Solich was good. Pelini was pretty good there.
Yeah. They've had some good. They were a powerhouse. Leave it what you said.
But they've never been the same since they went to the Big Ten. And Oklahoma is offense OU. They'd score a gazillion points.
They always
playing that. I don't like playing with Oklahoma because they could score bunches. I
have 18.5, at least a shot at possibly.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to week 3. Week 3. Second game of a doubleheader, 9-18.
Herb, Bob wants to make his prediction. Yeah. Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oklahoma is actually one of the favorites to win it all. Will they? I don't think so. But are they still good enough to do it? Yes. And Nebraska's been their rival for years. It's very hard for me to see those two teams and say Oklahoma's going to maul them by 18. But I think maybe this time it'll happen.
Got to be 19. Let's be fair. They got to win by 9. I mean. Week 3, September 18th, the second game, prime time, 3:30 in the afternoon, leading into the news of the world. Alabama at Florida.
I'm going to guess that Alabama is going to be 15-point favorites.
14.5. We won't even question you. Sorry, I usurped you, Bob. Rob had 15. It's 14.5. Alabama at Florida. Okay. I took Florida with 14.5, thinking maybe there'll be a letdown from week 2.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bob. You're on.
I'm taking Bama. They're going to be great. And the thing about them is, if they're better than last year, well, you couldn't stop their offense at all. Even if Florida gets 30 points in the game, and they may, I mean, Bama could score 50 on you. I mean, they just could.
Let's backtrack. Did you think that they would be what Rob said, 15? It turned out it's 14.5. Would you have said?
Yeah, because it's on the road. It would have been.
Well, what number would you have put in?
If it was in Bama, I would have said it would have been like 21 or more. Yeah,
no, it's at right. Florida. What would you have said? Because Rob nailed it. He said 15.
That's about what I was going to say.
So then you both in at 14.5.
I totally agree with Rob.
Okay, let's go on. What week are we on? Week 3.
Yeah.
Obviously a night game and a very interesting game. Robert will like this one a lot, Bob.
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma State at Boise State. You got what do we call them? They used to be the Big Eight in the middle of the country.
That is at Boise State.
And Oklahoma State, a scoring machine the last few years.
Yeah,
what
but
do
they're
you
playing them at night on the Smurf turf, those cheaters in their blue camouflage.
They're playing on the blue field.
They're playing on the cheaters field, the blue camo. They camouflage their jerseys.
Not to be confused with the midnight blue of the Dolphins. Hats off to Rob.
Make no mistake, that camouflage,
that teal is nice.
Program.
This blue looks like a pool table, right?
Yeah, you can't see the players. I mean, the players look like they're part of the field, so that's definitely to their advantage. It has been for years.
So who's going first?
Okay.
Bob, you go first because Rob nailed.
Well, Oklahoma State's going to be the favorite, I would think, because they're technically better. I would say, and they're on the road, so it's not going to be that high. It's going to be like 6 points, Oklahoma State, I would say.
Okay, Rob, back to you.
I'm actually in disagreement with Bob. I think Boise's going to get a little favorite love, 2.5.
Bob did it again with the 6. It's 7. I took 7 with Boise State, hoping for one of those crazy Saturday night games like 34-27, 34-30. I took Boise State with 7. Comment, Rob, first.
I think I just don't like that line. I mean, Boise is a
Boise
monster
should be favored
at night at home. They're playing the P5 team. They're going to be going nuts. They're going to have the crowd. It's not COVID.
Here's something to say about that, Rob.
Boise State had a pretty good record last year.
If you are right about that, and you could very well be right, the public may bet into that line, and the game could go from 7 down. It could go to 6, 5, 4. In that case, I will pull one of my, as Robert knows me, one of my middles. If it goes down to like 4 or 3, I'll bet on the favorite, and I'll have a 4, 5, 6 middle. Because you think maybe that Boise could have been 1, 2, or 3 favorite, a little home team love, right?
Absolutely, and I will be curious to see how this line changes as we get closer to that game.
And I will too, Rob. I will be looking at that game now because we've been talking about it, so it'll come up focus in my mind. Boise State at home.
You're right. It'll be. I mean, I don't know what Boise State has this year coming in. It is first game; they'll play them tough, but Oklahoma should maybe win, by a couple points, I would think. But it could come down to anything because it is on the road and it is first game.
Do you think 7 is a good take with the home team?
If I'm Boise, yeah, I would give the 6 to Boise. It could be.
You mean you would take it's 7 Oklahoma State? Would you take Boise with 7, or are you saying?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So now we're on to week 4, guys. September 25th at noon. Tennessee at Florida, September 25th, week 4. Make the line. Rob first or Bob first. You decide.
You got it, Rob.
Tennessee at Florida. I'm going to go Florida 11-point favorites.
Go ahead, Bob.
I don't know much about Tennessee.
At Florida, September 25th. Tennessee at Florida.
What did you make the line, Robert?
11 in favor of Florida.
I'll go 14 Tennessee. Florida.
Well, you're both very close. I took Tennessee with 15.5. Comment on the 15.5?
That's tempting.
That's
very tempting.
What? I don't think Tennessee's probably going to be that good. I think Florida's going to roll them. I think they're going to cover.
Okay. We're on to the next one, which is week 5, 12 noon, in Wisconsin, 10-2, October 2nd.
Man, Wisconsin was down last year, so Wisconsin at home. Wisconsin wasn't that good last year. Keeping in mind
some of the previous games that Michigan was playing, that either they're going to be on the hot seat to win, or they're going to be looking like they played well and they're going to win.
I think Wisconsin's going to be favored by like 3, 4.
Bob?
Wisconsin's home. I'm going Wisconsin 7 since they're home.
I took Michigan with 9.
9.
Michigan's a 9-point underdog at.
I got Michigan dog on the road with 9. A big game for him for the aforementioned Harbaugh. They got to be in this game like all the way.
Right.
Oh, that's a huge
It's only
game
going to be
for
week
Harbaugh.
5, so So any comments or any picks there? I have Michigan with 9.
So you said Wisconsin is a 9-point favorite.
Yes, I have Michigan with the 9.
I mean,
You like the bet?
Wisconsin's a monster at home, though. I could see a route
No,
in this
I don't
game.
like the bet.
Yeah, I don't like it either, Herb.
Okay, we got that. We'll move on to. But by the way, you have both of you have Wisconsin winning comfortably over the 9.
You don't think they can't win by 10 at home? Because I do.
Wisconsin's a beast at home.
Okay.
And like you said, Michigan was down. Michigan was 2-4 last year.
Week 5 also at noon on the other channel. Here's an interesting game, guys. Auburn versus LSU on October 2nd, week 5.
Tough because now you're dealing with LSU's home field. I think Auburn's better.
Yeah, they're better. They're better. LSU was 5-5 last year. I'm going to go Auburn by 2 points or 3 points. I'm going to say that.
What do you think, Rob?
Man, that's tough. It's a tough one. I like Bob's guess.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue. Both of you. Hold on. Both of you, Rob and Bob. I was listening. I always listen, even though I talk a lot, guys. I heard you both say almost simultaneously, it's at LSU, but Auburn's a better team. Did I not hear you both almost simultaneously say that?
Pretty much in agreement there.
Okay. I will relinquish it by alleviating it is the word.
So Auburn favored by 6.
Who?
Auburn favored 6.
How about I have Auburn with 6.5?
Right.
Okay.
I'm taking 6.5 with Auburn. They made LSU favorite because they're at home.
Right.
But I agree with both of you
that
Auburn's a better team. I think the better team is getting points at LSU. What do you think? Now you both.
But you know what? If LSU's favored by 6.5, then these guys don't think that if LSU's favored by 6.5, they don't think Auburn's better than LSU.
Absolutely right, Bob. Absolutely right. The line is made 2 ways. Either the in people in the gambling business where sites, and Rob and I know what this means. There's a good site and an evil site. They all get their thing from bookmaking parlors at the big hotels in Vegas, the sports books at all the name hotels, which I can't name all the new names because all of them are like modern businesses, Mandalay and all those others. I know the old names when Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra, the Riviera. You are right, 100%, Bob. Yeah. They think that LSU is better or Auburn is not as good, or let's float the line with the presumption that we're going to have more action on the home team, LSU. Like you said, Rob, remember when you said you're going to be interested to see how that 7 goes with Boise State?
I feel the same way about this LSU. Auburn.
That's why I just led you to that. Exactly. I knew this was what you're going to say. You're going to feel the same way.
Yeah, that's 5
it's 6.5. Let's say it goes down to 3.5. LSU. I'll lay the 3.5, and I'll have a 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. 6. You know how I do it, Rob.
Absolutely. This is one you keep an eye on the line.
It's one to keep an eye on. Exactly. Yeah. And remind me about that, Rob. Okay.
Absolutely.